Hi there guys, welcome back to the Bitesize Guitar channel. I'm Reese and today we're going to be taking a look at Your Power by Billie Eilish. Now the entire song only really uses 4 basic chords throughout, so even if you're a beginner you should be able to follow along. I'll also take you through how to play the intro lead part that is played on a separate guitar on the recording, and at the very end I'll take you through an entire playthrough of the whole song so that you can play along at a slightly slowed down pace. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4 chords used in order to play the entire song. We start off here with this F major 7 in this open voicing. We've then got an A minor, an E minor, and a G6. So if you're already familiar with all 4 of those chords, then skip ahead to where I'll show you how to put them together and use a strumming pattern to play the various sections of the song. But for now, let's also take a look, for those of you who aren't familiar, how to play each one of those chords. So starting with our F major 7, you're not going to be playing the bottom E or the A string. So on the D string, you have your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B, and the high E is open. That's your F major 7. Okay, so then our A minor, we're not going to be playing the bottom E again, we're going to be playing the open A string, 2nd fret on the D string with our 2nd finger, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string. High E again is open. Our E minor then, we have open on our bottom E, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then the remaining 3 strings are left open. And finally our G6, you may already be familiar with a standard G chord. There's only really one physical difference between that and this chord, and that is we're going to be playing 3rd fret on the bottom E string as we would in a regular G chord, 2nd fret on the A string, we then have the open D string, open G string, open B string, and where we would normally maybe have the 3rd fret on the high E, we're just going to leave that open. That's the 6th note in the G major scale, so we get a G6. Okay, so now let's take a look at the structure of the song and how those 4 chords fit together. Okay, so as I said, we're essentially going to be playing those 4 chords in a particular order throughout the entire song. And we're going to play 4 chords over an 8-bar pattern. What that looks like is 2 bars of F major 7, followed by a bar of A minor, and then a bar of E minor. We then come back to the F major 7 for another 2 bars, bar of A minor, bar of G6. So essentially you're only really swapping out that E minor and that G6 every 4 bars. So that's our intro, that's our chorus, that's our verse, and our pre-chorus, for want of a better term. So if I play that through in one entire cycle, it should sound like this. At which point we would then simply repeat that exact same 8-bar cycle again throughout the entire song. Now there's perhaps one other thing I should mention about the way that the guitar part lands on that F major 7 every 4 bars. And it's not actually going to land just straight onto the chord playing all 4 notes in unison, although if this is a new shape to you, it's absolutely fine to just try and get a consistent sound out of all 4 strings sounding simultaneously. However, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, or you want to add in that extra flourish that we can hear on the original recording, then what's actually happening here is, rather than landing my first, second and third finger all on beat 1 of the bar, what's actually happening is I'm getting my third and probably even my first finger, although you can do the same thing with your first finger that I'll show you in just a second. I'm getting my third finger into position immediately, ready for the change to the F, and then I'm hammering on with my second finger, and like I say, you could include the first finger if you wanted to add that in on the B string as well. But I'm going to be playing the open G string essentially on beat 1, and then hammering my second finger down as part of the chord onto that second fret, so the A on the G string. So it should sound and look like this. So kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. So you can hear that hammer on sounding within the chord. Again. So within the context of the entire chord progression, it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so absolutely don't worry if you find that a little bit too tricky. You'll be able to play the song perfectly adequately without it by just landing on a straight F major 7. But once you get used to that and you fancy an extra challenge, try throwing in that hammer on to get a little bit closer to the kind of more nuanced performance on the original track. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the right hand so that we can learn the various strumming patterns that we're going to use throughout the song. So the strumming pattern in this song is actually relatively straightforward once we get used to it, and we're going to be playing the same thing throughout. Essentially, we're just going to introduce a little bit of palm muting in our verses and our pre-chorus, and then open up to full strumming using the same strumming pattern for our choruses. So the strumming pattern that we're going to be playing, no matter which section of the song we are on, is down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Or we could count that as 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So again, that's down, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So if we put that into context, let's say that I'm playing the verse or the chorus, so I'm going to allow all of the strings to ring out nice and cleanly, and it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 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 down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. Now let's say I want to play through the verse or the pre-chorus. I'm going to play exactly the same strumming pattern, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to rest the sort of palm of my hand, kind of the fatty part of your palm, on the bridge or around about this sort of area of the guitar, actually resting on the strings. And you'll find that if you just do that kind of to an extreme extent, you kill all sound coming off of the guitar. So if this is a bit new as a technique to you, experiment around with maybe playing muting to the nth degree and gradually backing off, finding the sweet spot on your guitar specifically where you can still hear pitched note, but it sounds much more percussive. So again, it's the same strumming pattern, but let's imagine now that I'm playing with this palm muting technique on the verse or pre-chorus sections of the song. It should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 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 down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up. So play around with utilizing that palm muting in order to create some dynamic contrast between the various sections of the song. Okay, so that's pretty much all that you need in order to play along with the rhythm part of the song, but let me just quickly show you how to play the lead kind of guitar lick that we hear in our intro and outro. Okay, so obviously there is a sort of guitar melody that plays us into the song in the intro and out on the outro. It's pretty much impossible to play that melody in its entirety and the chords that I've just shown you. So there's a second guitar part essentially on the recording. However, if you still want to just sort of learn it for fun or play along with a friend who knows how to play the chords, then let's take a quick look at it. So we're going to start up here on the 8th fret on the high E, and we're going to play between the 8 and the 7 on that string. So 8, 7, before dropping down onto the B string at the 5th fret, and 5, 6, 5. So that opening kind of melody is 8, 7, 5, 6, 5. We then finish that off by moving position again down to the 3rd fret on the high E and the 4th fret on the G string. So the G note here and the B note here. So all in all that should sound like this. So 8, 7, 5, 6, 5, 3, 4. Should sound something like this. We're going to come back to that exact same melody, but in between we're going to play it again but with slightly different endings. So we go back up to the 8th fret and we get 8, 7, 5, 6, 5, 3, 3, 5, 6, and you just slide from your 5 to 6. So again, that's up on the high E, 8th fret to 7th fret, down onto the B string, 5, 6, 5, and then we wait and slide all the way down to the 3rd fret on the B, and we get 3, 3, 5, 6. We then come back to our initial melody, so. However, if you would like to kind of take this to the next level, we can put in a guitar harmony here. So you're going to play exactly the same top notes that you were playing in that first iteration of the melody, so 8, 7, 5, 6, 5. However, just on that section, we're going to add in a second note that we sort of play in tandem with that first note. So at the same time that we play the 8, we're going to play the 9 on the G string. So that's 9 on the G, 8 on the E. We're then going to slide down to the 7th fret on both of those same two strings. So 7 on the E, 7 on the G. We've then got 5, 6, 5 in our original melody, and on the G string at the same time as playing those three notes, we're going to play 5 on the G with the 5th on the B. When we go to 6 on the B, we're going to be playing the 7th fret on the G, and then back to the two 5s on the B and D, and then our G note at the 3rd and our B note at the 4th fret of the G string remain as single notes. So that should look something like this. So again, 8 and 9, 7 and 7, 5 and 5, 6 and 7, 5 and 5, and finishing it in the same way as we did the first time around. So all together that should sound something like this. We then finish off this intro melody by coming down to the 5th fret on the B string, and we're going to play that 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, before we step down to the 3rd fret and play that twice. And the second time you can give it a little bit of vibrato, so just kind of a little wiggle like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, before coming down onto the G string and stepping down from 5 to 4. So that's 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3, 5, 4. Okay, so let's put everything we've just learned there together and see how the entire melody should sound. So starting back up at the 8th fret, we get part 1. Part 2. 3 with harmony. Part 4. Okay, so that's how we play the intro of the song. I'm now going to take you through a full playthrough of the entire track, so feel free to sing along, play along, or play that lead part when we come to our intro and outro sections. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you ruined her, and you don't act like it was hard. And you swear you didn't know. No wonder why you didn't ask. She was sleeping in your clothes, and now she's gotta get to class. How dare you? And how could you? Will you only feel bad when they find out if you could take it all back? Would you try not to abuse your power? Special, you made me feel like it was my fault. You were the devil lost in your appeal. Does it keep you in control? For you to keep her in a cage, and you swear you didn't know. You said you thought she was your age. Well, how dare you? How could you? You only feel bad if it turns out that they kill your contract. Would you try not to abuse your power? No, we didn't choose to change. Thank you for watching. That's the end of this video. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you enjoyed it or found any of it useful. You might also like to check out some of these videos and let me know in the comments section below what you'd like to learn next. Until then, I'll see you there.